numbers out everything.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Foocast. My name is Finn and today, once again, I am joined by my good pal Robert.
Greetings one and all.
Greetings Robert, have you heard the news?
The news?
Of Bad Batch getting renewed for a season 2?
I haven't.
Well...
But it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I'm not that bothered about a season 2.
I'm not that bothered as long as season 2 is just a big improvement over season 1.
I hope that they can use season 2 to learn upon a bunch of their mistakes and just make a really kick-ass season 2.
Yeah. Maybe this time I would like there to be less cameos in season 2. Well, at least less cameos that don't make sense.
Yeah, I don't mind cameos as long as it's used well.
Yeah.
You know.
Don't just have like a little Kanan running around for no reason.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
That's not needed.
But at least this episode, if you guys are wondering why we're not doing 2 Bad Batch episodes in one, it's because this episode, or was it 14? Episode 14, yeah. Finally getting into the meat and potatoes of what the show was actually meant to be like. You know, we're getting finally some transition from clones to stormtroopers. We're getting stuff on Camino. We're getting more like finding out what happened to other clones.
We're finally doing the stuff they should have been doing this whole time. Yeah,
which
it's actually enjoyable.
Yeah, like it wasn't. I'm gonna be honest. I also rewatched this episode, and it felt a bit safe.
Yeah,
and a bit a bit sort of predictable. But it's probably one of the best episodes we've got.
Yeah. Although unfortunately, it's not really saying much that it is.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a concept of an episode that we've seen, like, loads of times before, like, someone who's rescuing out of this facility. But it was just really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it's actually entertaining.
Yeah. And let's just get straight into it. I got spoiled for this episode, which annoyed me because I woke up on a Friday and after episode 13 I was just like, I removed Bad Batch from my brain. Woke up, went on YouTube and saw Bad Batch saves Gregor scene. And I'm like, oh thanks dude, appreciate that. Uploaded 1 hour after the episode comes out. Why? Why do people do this? That. Yeah.
Like, after a week of it being released, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I was happy when Suicide Squad came out a week early in the UK, and I found out that nobody was posting spoilers online. And so I'm guessing it's all. I'm guessing it's all the flipping Americans that are doing it.
Yeah.
And plus, next week it's out on HBO Max, so there's going to be HD scenes out there, 4K. So just everyone who hasn't seen Suicide Squad, stay offline, because I feel so bad for Jaden because he can't watch it because his country's on lockdown, so how bad for him. So I actually really liked the kick-ass opening scene of this episode.
I thought it was alright. I still had a problem with the stun gun thing about how he just got his leg. Only his leg was affected. I think that has been used in Clones before, but I still don't like it. I'm like, well, you just hit him.
I don't find much of an issue with it, because, like, obviously I understand why you do, but at the same time it's like, it adds a bit more suspense and more of a thrilling chase.
Mine's more of a nitpick, but it's still irked me a little bit. Or maybe that's just because I'm coming off of, like, not liking the previous episode as much.
I get what you mean. Like, you're coming off of just a few mediocre episodes and then going into this one. You wouldn't have a mindset of just, I can't wait for this. You're coming in and say, I hope it's good. You know?
But he did do that trope again at the beginning where they got a mission and Hunter was like, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. And then Omega was like, yeah, we can. We've got to do it.
Yeah.
And Echo, like, gave him that stare. And then Hunter's like, oh, fuck's sake, okay,
well, this is literally... This has happened so many times that we've pointed this out in previous episodes. Like, we were literally watching this episode, and you and me and Stuart were just like, okay, I guarantee you that they're going to have a problem. Yeah, Hunter doesn't want to do it, and Omega says, we have to.
Yeah, we predicted what was going to happen, and then we all laughed as soon as it did happen.
Yeah. Thankfully, that was one of the only things that proper irritated me out this episode. So I'm glad I'm getting that out of the way. But I think the opening scene was really cool because, well, obviously all of you guys, the main point of that chase is so you don't know who that clone is. But fucking people online, I knew who it was. But it was just cool seeing like a rogue clone being chased by a bunch of clones. Which I think was really cool. And I love how like it gets to a bit where he runs off the cliff and there's like a shot where you see like it comes like a full-on dead end and he's being chased by these weird guard dog things.
They explain how the fuck Gregor got there. Because the last time we saw him was in the Clone Wars arc where he got fucking blown up and presumed dead until he returned in Rebels. And here it seems like he's part of the Republic Army again. So I hope in the next episode we do actually say where the fuck he was.
Yeah,
explain how he got back into the Republic.
I'm guessing that he just survived the explosion and then just found a way back.
He just walked.
But is there... have they given us a reason on why Order 66 didn't work for him?
My assumption is that in the explosion...
Yeah, that's what mine is.
It a bit crazy that it affected his chip, which... I'm not too sure how I feel about that just being, because it feels too easy at this point.
Yeah.
For the chips to not activate because of that. So, I don't know. Or maybe it's because his mind's so fucked now that it just doesn't affect him.
I'm just guessing that the explosion did that to him, that it messed up his chip. That's what I'm guessing.
That's basically, I think that's a safe guess to make at this point.
Yeah, but it would be a nice explanation on why. You know?
Yeah. And then we're like, oh my god, we can save our brothers if we blow them all up.
Yeah.
And Echo's like, no.
Yeah, it was cool seeing Gregor again, because I think that all of us just expected, like, a lot of the plot of this show to finding other clones.
Yeah.
And now he's finally
here.
Before
they started, I used to talk, and I'd say to him, I hope that, because a new Rex was turning up, I remember saying, I hope that they explore how he got with Gregor and Wolf. To explain how they got there in Rebels, and it seems to be that's what we're doing, which I'm actually cool with, just because I think it makes sense for clones to be in this.
Yeah.
A lot more than like fucking Kanan, or Chopper, or Hera.
Yeah.
Or like fucking Fennec for some reason.
Yeah. I think that they were just... I think that the show's creators are just like, oh, well, this is going to be transitioning to Rebels, so I think it's going to be cool that we should put a few Rebels cameos in there.
Yeah.
And I don't as much mind Hera, but like, it's, again, the whole Kanan retconning that really cool comic thing, I don't see the point in it.
Yeah, it felt more of a selfish reason to do it, to be honest. That's what it comes across as.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
I can't really look at that and think of any other reason. Like, I have to assume Dave Filoni was aware of the comic book that existed.
He must have been.
There's no way... Yeah, it's his character that he created. So he has to know it exists.
Yeah.
And he has to know that people love that comic.
Yeah.
I'm guessing... I'm not saying...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is like his mindset, but to me, it seems it came more across as from a place of like, oh, people love what I'll do, so they'll love this anyway. That's how it looks to me. But I'm not saying that's his mindset. It's just, from my perspective, it looks kind of like, you know when the show's gone for so long, and they get to a point where they just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they can, because their fan base is so large and loyal at this point. That's what this comes across as to me.
My take on that Kanan thing real quick before we go into this episode is that it was a really cool scene, and everything they did with him was like really good. But at the same time, it's like, I would rather them keep that comic book canon than to have this here, if that makes sense.
Especially since the scene in Bad Batch wasn't as great as what happened in the comics. They actually explored like Kanan throughout that. In this, he was the side character.
Yeah.
But in the comic, he was forefront of the story.
Yeah, it's like the same with seeing Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker. It's like, all of his scenes are amazing, but what the fuck are you doing in this movie?
Yeah.
That's how I feel, to be honest with you. And so...
Like, it's cool seeing you, but why the fuck are you here?
Yeah. So, there's my take on it. Also, I Because you know how I've said a few times in previous episodes that the action hasn't been as great? It's like, for example, episode 4 didn't have that great of action, but the episode 6 with the Martes sisters, I really liked that episode because of its action and stuff. This had some kick-ass action in this episode.
It did, to be honest.
It was really fun. I liked... Also, the animation on and the graphics and just everything on Daro looked really good. Like, you know, Hunter actually using his power?
I remember, because I think I spoke about it in our last cast.
Yeah, you
about
did.
How, like, they just kind of forgot their powers existed.
Yeah.
And they finally remembered their thing.
I think one of the only times where Hunter only used his powers was when, you know, in the Rex episode where they were walking and he sensed the creature, and when he was tracking Kanan as well. I think those are the only times that he used it. And it was, like, all of us were cheering, like, yes, he's using his abilities. And
we were like, oh my god, he's remembered.
Like, I was actually stoked, and I was like, yeah, finally, because this is like a perfect opportunity. If you're tracking someone, and then Hunter, he's literally at the Rambo of clones, and the fact that he's, and also the bit where he literally is at the Rambo of clones, because he's got the headband and the hair and everything, and the fact that, you know, when he's picking up, like, the dirt, and, like, all the individual little bits were, like all the dirt was, like, coming off his fingers.
That looked really nice.
Yeah, it looked so good. It's the animation that I absolutely love. You know, it's
the animation's good.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why I want the show to succeed, because I feel like if because we were going down on, like, we didn't like this show, like, I still don't fully like the show that much, even if this episode was good, but I feel like if this show gets a bad reception throughout season 2, then the show would get cancelled, and then we might not see this animation anymore. Yeah,
which is sad, to be honest with you, because this is one of my favourite... I think it's this and Spider-Verse are, like, my favourite styles of, like, 3D animation, which I absolutely love. And it's not that this show is awful, it's just, it's passable, but the fact that there's so many missed opportunities and crazy concepts and ideas that they missed out on doing.
Weird writing choices sometimes.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And repeating of the same cliche tropes over and over again.
I did like the reference where they were just like... because you know, when Hunter was just like, oh, we need to go get that clone, but it's too risky. I actually understand for once where Hunter's coming from, because there's flipping commandos and there's all sorts of stuff going on down there.
This actually made sense.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. And Echo mentioned...
I know.
Yeah.
He wrestled something that actually happened to him.
Actually mentioned... And this is like one of the first times they've actually mentioned what happened on... What was the planet called? Skako Minor.
That's it.
Skako Minor, yeah. That was a great moment where they was just like, you rescued me, and I was against
I do wish that was more, like, obvious for his character, though. Like, because it doesn't really seem like he's affected by it.
Yeah.
Like, he's physically affected by it, but is he mentally affected by it? I think it'd been cool throughout this show if to see him dealing with the trauma of that.
Yeah.
As well as, like, the trauma of, like, losing Fives as well.
And I think that's the same with all characters and just the whole concept of the show. It could be, like, the dealing with trauma and your place in the world after, like, what you were born to do is now over, and it's like, where do you go from there? And this show,
I feel like it dropped the ball hugely. Like, it's like it dropped it so far off a cliff that it fell into a black hole.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
Yeah, it's like, I've spoken about so many amazing concepts in Clone Wars. It's like Darth Maul coming back and getting revenge on Obi-Wan and taking over the Mandalorian planet.
And they actually, like, use that to its fullest potential.
Yeah. What did you do? Did you drop something?
Dropped a biscuit tin.
Yeah, I heard a crinkling of a bag or something.
Yeah.
Hang on. I've got a cookie bag here. Listen, we'll have a crinkle off.
That's my brain watching really bad episodes of Bad Batch.
I won. I couldn't hear how loud my crinkle was, but I guess it was loud enough. Oh,
it was loud.
Do you know what? Crinkle off. Put that in the title. Do you know what I really liked about one part of this episode? And I'm actually surprised I noticed this. Like, I wasn't 100% sure, but at the same time I was like, oh, I think that's from so-and-so. It was the concept art from A New Hope.
Oh, the Stormtrooper one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when we first saw it from the far away, we were all like, well, that looks like First Order armor. Because it genuinely did.
Yeah.
I remember we were all confused by it.
And
then when we saw it up close.
You know where, what I can imagine if they made like a Battlefront 3 or something, I can imagine that being like a skin for like one of like the Stormtrooper classes.
Definitely would be.
Yeah, because I actually, like, one of the things I love about Rebels is that they took a bunch of really amazing concept art from like A New Hope and all that back in like the 60s, and they actually made some of that canon. And I think loads of people were mentioning before, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they made an early Stormtrooper design from concept art, and then they did it. And it just looks really good. Like, it's really similar to a Stormtrooper, but it's like, you can tell that it's not quite there, but it's leading up to it.
I remember when we watched the episode saying how, like, they probably should have stuck with those helmet designs, because it looks like they can actually see out of them, instead of how, like, having to, like, squint out of the eyes.
I can't see a damn thing in this thing. Props to that, because it's a really cool detail.
That was cool.
I really enjoyed that. And also, seeing Clone Commandos as well in this new animation.
Oh yeah, Scorch and all that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that was Scorch straight off the bat.
Neither did I, but mainly because I never played the game.
Yeah, neither did I. It's like, I know Republic Commandos, but I don't really know anything about them. And, like, first...
I liked that as a cameo, because that made sense. It didn't distract anything to the story. It's just one of those things where, if you notice it, it's cool. If you don't know who it is, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and
which I like.
Scorch was a flipping tank in this episode. Like, he took, like, 8 stun blasts and just kept going.
I'm wondering if that's just a thing all Clone Commando armor have. Like, a resistance to stun blast.
Well, or just blast in general, because they are literally like, well, I mean, if you ever play them in Battlefront 2, they are literally flipping tanks. And also, I was mentioning to a few people online, if those Clone Commandos took the anti-tank grenades on their blasters that they are in Battlefront 2, the entire Bad Batch would be dead in one blast.
They would. The Bad Batch are fucking stupid. Like, I know people are trying to say now that, like, oh, it's cool seeing how the Republic Commandos can take on the Bad Batch who are genetically enhanced. Mm-hmm. But my problem with that is, the Bad Batch have kind of been shown to be fucking stupid in the way they do stuff. So I'm not surprised that the Clone Commandos can easily take them on.
Yeah, I don't think that, you know how they're meant to be like, oh, they've got these insane tactics. Like they had some really cool tactics and stuff they did in Season 7, but they haven't really utilised... Like,
they haven't done anything like that.
Yeah, it's just been sort of just normal clone tactics and stuff. But it's Scorch. He took like, it wasn't like a full on just, oh wow, it's Scorch. It was just in there, like it was subtle, but it was freaking cool.
Yeah,
and I really like that. It's not like a huge cameo. It wasn't treated as if like something that you have to know, but like obviously,
it wasn't treated as if it was a special thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, hey, it's just his character. It's just as if they introduced any new character.
Yeah.
That's how it was, and I liked it.
What do you think of the things they did with Gregor in this episode?
I liked it, because I remember at the beginning, me and Sir always feel like, is that Hauser? Because we kept thinking it was Hauser, because it kind of looks similar in the shadows.
Yeah.
But then we were like, oh no, it's not. At first, I think we thought his name was Brick, because we kind of heard that's what Rex said. Mm-hmm. But after a while, I kind of worked out as Gregor through, like, the way he was talking, and he kept breaking up into little bits of laughter. Like, I remember, you probably remember me going, oh, that's fucking Gregor, and still going, well, I don't think it is, and me going, no, that's fucking Gregor.
Yeah, because he kept saying it was Hauser, and I'm like, no, Hauser's got all sorts of scars on his face. He was like, oh, I don't know who this is then. I'm like, it's Gregor. And even when Gregor said, oh, well, the name's Captain Gregor, and then Stuart was sort of like, no, that's not Gregor. I'm like, he just said his name!
Wait, did he say that? I don't remember that.
No, he did. Like, literally, like, you know, like, when they were, like, crawling through the vent and stuff, it was just like, oh, wait, that is Gregor. And I'm like, yeah, he said his name, like, 3 times. Yeah, I was just...
Something I thought was a bit weird. This is going away from Gregor, but when the Bad Batch kept losing their stun guns on the clones or the stormtroopers, whoever they were at that point, I thought it was a bit weird. Because I'm like, well, you know they're not clones, so you shouldn't really care about killing them. Mm-hmm. And then you have, like, Wrecker coming in just shooting them and killing them, like,
just...
So I thought... And I'm there, like, just kill them. Like, you might as well.
It doesn't bother me loads. It's like, I get why they used Suns at the very start because they thought that they were clones.
You
know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I feel like after we found that out, I feel like they could have switched.
Yeah. I still don't 100% mind it. I love the fact that they're going from hallway to hallway, because the hallways and stuff, they're starting to sort of transition to like hallways from like the Death Star and just Imperial stuff.
A bit more A New Hope.
Yeah. And I did love the bit where Echo's doing his thing with his little astromech droid thing in the wall, and it's just like, oh, TK troopers. And I know TK troopers from Battlefront 2, and I'm like, oh, they're stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And it's just...
It was cool.
Yeah.
I like seeing that Echo and Tech were actually useful for once, it felt like. That we're actually doing stuff, which I think was really nice. Also, I was thinking about this the other day, but do you know how I was saying how Echo and Tech are kind of similar?
Yeah.
Because they're both just the tech guy. So think about this, right? Take the names Tech and Echo. If you take the T off of Tech, it says Ek. When you have the O on the end, it says Echo.
And then if you put the T on Echo, it's Techo.
It is.
Oh no, you know what that sounds like? If someone made some weird fanfic between the two of them.
Oh god.
It's Techo. Oh no.
We've now incited that. We should be ashamed.
No, you should be ashamed because you brought it up. I just simply pointed it out. I wish that it's just concept wise they could do so much with Echo, and it's really cool seeing them all. And like, I like how they're actually, because remember at the start of the show is that Echo and Tech, they don't really do much, they just sort of stayed at the ship, but now it's sort of they're the go-tos to go out. Yeah,
and it just feels like, for me at this point, it kind of feels a bit too little too late, if you get what I mean. Because he's like could have done this at any point of this shift, or at least build something up.
At least they're getting some action now.
At least, yeah. But then Hunter got fucking kidnapped.
Oh wait.
Which was sad.
Yeah. Wait.
I guess.
Yeah. Also, before we go on to that real quick, concept-wise, I think something was really cool now that I think about it, because I'm just guessing that, say for example, Gregor, there we go. Gregor survived and then got back to the ship and then went back to like the Republic, right? I'm guessing like on an assignment they just sent a bunch of Republic commandos over to that planet anyways, and then once the Order 66 was decided, that's where they were sort of stuck and like forced to sort of go there. So like Gregor's gone over there and he's sort of just like, oh, I want out of this. And I don't think it's cool how they're using Republic commandos to train stormtroopers.
Yeah, it makes sense as well.
Yeah, and like the whole, because there's a few things, and like it's like, for example, Hauser wasn't really had much of an explanation of why his chip didn't work, and all the clones just dropping all the weapons there.
Yeah, I'm still pissed about that.
Yeah, same. It just makes Order 66. It feels like not as bad.
It makes it so disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, but like with Gregor, I can just imagine just like, oh, maybe it was something happened to it when the shuttle got blown up, or when he was in that explosion. So that's how I sort of envision it.
The problem, with that right now though, that's like having knowledge of who this character is, you know. But I can be like, oh, I know what's happened to him in the past and in the future, so I can kind of like determine what's happened, how he's like survived it. With Hauser, who's just a new character, I feel like he needed a bit more build-up as to why he doesn't have his chip activated.
Yeah.
Which I hope we get an answer for. Because I hate the idea of like, oh, well, just read the comics. It's in the comics. I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter if it's in the comics. It's the TV show.
Yeah.
You need to answer the fucking... You need to tell the story in the show, not the fucking comic.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I do think that at least we've actually got like a really kick-ass solid storyline with Order 66 in the Clone Wars. Like that was told magnificently. And also
that was good. Yeah. That's another thing as well, is how it makes that whole scene on the bridge with Jesse, Rex and Ahsoka just seem a bit weird now, because I'm like, well, Hauser just kind of like said a bunch of words and we all gave up.
Well,
and I'm like, what's the difference?
I don't go back and look at that and think, oh, well, that's ruined that. I don't at all. It's like...
Well, maybe ruined's the wrong word, but it's kind of just making me question it. You're like, well, they could have just done that then, because now it just kind of seems like the chips are inconsistent.
Yeah.
And that they don't work well in every clone, pretty much.
I did like a few things that they did in episode 1 of Clone Wars. Like, even the Kanan thing, even though I prefer...
You mean Bad Batch?
Yeah, that's what I meant in episode 1 of Bad Batch. Like, the whole Kanan Order 66 thing was actually pretty good. And
yeah, that felt intimidating.
Yeah,
and then they just kind of get pushed off to the side.
Yeah.
Kind of like
another thing I did like is when they went back to Kamino, just like, yeah, we've won the war, and all the clones are just sort of, they don't really care, and they're carrying bodies of Jedis, and they're just like, and then Tech picks up the lightsaber. It's just like, is there a problem? Keep it moving. It's just like, oh, the war's over, and all the clones are just sort of just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was good, but then it kind of feels like the show's quality dropped significantly after that in terms of storytelling.
It's like the clones are now just basically more serious versions of like the Stormtroopers and Rebels. They're just sort of there. They don't seem more like a threat anymore.
They still kind of seem like jokes, but just they're serious about it, and they're not stupid. But they're still jokes.
I did like this episode though, with all the clone commandos, Order 66, and I love that the fact that they gotta like sneak into like the elevator and then go get him. Then the fact they had to go back, and then they went all the way back up to the elevator and they open it, and it just Scorch is there, and all the other Stormtroopers. Then
I like that.
Yeah, I thought like the action in this episode was like really good. Right, the fact that
it was good.
It was such a cool image just seeing Hunter just choke out like a bunch of just like clone commandos, and like it was just kick ass. It was just get in, get him, and go in the elevator, and then they have to do it a different way, and they have to sneak out. And I think another thing that was really cool is when they're in like the vent area, and then it was like they're sort of waiting for the shuttle to come out, and then they're all sort of just all the clone commandos are shooting at them. Like that was cool, and the fact that the Bad Batch shuttle just like flies in and Wrecker's sitting there shooting, and they have to do like a rendezvous to come back and get him. It's like, it's not like the most amazing like fight ever or like shootout, but it was really cool. Just seeing clone commandos and just early versions of Stormtroopers. I really liked it.
Hello?
Oh, did you get disconnected?
I got disconnected, yeah.
Oh, did you hear what I was saying?
I heard something about being in the vents.
Oh yeah, I was just saying to everyone that I really liked just the big shootout thing at the vents where they're sort of cornered, and then they have to like get the ship to like rendezvous back to them. Then all the it was just clone commandos were just a really neat touch, because the clone commando armor is just, because I play Battlefront 2 a lot, and I just love the look of the clone commando armor, you know. And it was just cool seeing them. I think this is like the most we've ever seen in terms of like the clone commandos doing something.
Yeah. They appeared once in Clone Wars, but that was it. And they didn't fight, they just kind of like delivered a corpse of a Jedi.
But I do think, like, concept-wise, I think it's pretty cool how they just got sent on the mission, all of them, and then at like convenient at the same time Order 66 happened, and then they're all just sort of just there. And then Gregor's just like, wait, why are we sort of like that's what I can imagine. It's just they sent on the mission, and then Order 66 happens, and now they're just stuck on this planet, and they're just forced to do stuff. Doesn't really make sense why I just said, but like, I think it's cool. I like what they did with Gregor in this episode.
Yeah, I did like it. I do feel like we're going to bring Rex in for the finale as well.
I hope so.
I feel like that would make sense at this point.
You know what was funny, what Stuart said after we were watching it, where if Hunter's in that cell and then he gets a call from Rex saying, oh, I've just found out some intel that there's a clone stuck in that same facility, did you get back and get it? And then Hunter just turned on his video camera just like, well, that's me.
I've got some news for you. Or when he was like, oh, it'd be funny if like Rex was the one that got kidnapped and he was like, there's a clone when he's rescuing.
That just made me laugh, just like, oh, there's another clone back in that same facility. I just need to go get him. Or, you know what? What did you think of Hunter getting sort of captured at the end?
I think I said it when we were watching it, but it feels unearned to have like this big stake thing.
I didn't feel much watching it because if they did character stuff, then I'd feel something. But Robert just got disconnected. There we are. Hey.
Hello, I'm back.
Hate you. I was just saying, just like I think if they did some really great character development and some character stuff with interactions and stuff, then it would it would hit someplace.
A problem I've been having is that, let's look at it this way, yes, it's like, look at it this way, Hunter becomes a parental figure to Omega. Hunter's the leader of the Bad Batch, Hunter gives all the shots. Hunter has like, everything, it was like centered around Hunter and not the Bad Batch. I know even in Ensemble Cast is like the main lead, but I feel like this has been going on making Hunter too much of a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Hunter's this big important character. He's the only one to really have a relationship with Omega. Omega only really spends time with Hunter. Now, Hunter is the one that gets kidnapped. I'm like, to me, it's a bit too contrived about how, like, we're trying to, like, everything's about Hunter, it feels like. Like, I think it'd been interesting if the person to get kidnapped was Tech instead. Like, that could have been interesting to see what Tech's like in that situation.
I wouldn't care if Tech got kidnapped.
I won't care if any of them got kidnapped. I'm just like, I think it'd be more of an interesting story instead of like, oh, the guy who we know probably won't really talk much to the guy, then we kind of see how he handles in that situation. Like, we kind of get how Hunter would be.
Yeah.
Like, how would Tech be? How would he handle this situation?
Well, it's just the fact that because they didn't really do, like, any new or unique or basically any really amazing character development or just interactions, and then the fact that it comes across as a bit hollow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really feel much.
Hollow. It's a hollow state, pretty much.
And now the fact that season 2's happening, it's just like, well, I know they're just gonna get him and everything's gonna be fine, and they go on more adventures in the future, so...
I mean, I remember saying when Hunter got kidnapped, I think it'd been better if they just shot him dead. Like, that would have been fucking surprising, but also would have added tension to the show as well. Right now, I don't feel like there is any tension. I've seen people reacting to Hunter being kidnapped and being really shocked and, like, scared for him, and I'm like, nothing bad is going to happen.
Well,
really. And if it does happen, I'll be happy.
I mean, it's a cool, like, ending, and it sets up, like, well, obviously, from now on, like, from that ending, it's obviously is that they're not going to go on any more side missions or anything.
It'd be funny if they do.
In the next episode.
We're not high enough levels.
Well, could you imagine if, like, I wake up a Friday morning and it's like, finally, I'm going to get some more story stuff. I look on the thumbnail, it's a picture of Sid. I'm like, he's just like, where's Dark and Broody? Oh, he's been kidnapped. I need you boys to go get some oranges.
But, and then this time there's no one to say no. It'd be funny if they just didn't rescue Hunter. Because we're like, oh, imagine all this time he said he didn't want us to, like, help other people. Let's not help him.
Yeah, where they're just like, should we go get him? But what would Hunter do? He wouldn't want us to go. Agreed. He would not want us to go. Let's move on.
It is true. Let's go. We just go into season 2 without Hunter. Plus, they're just waiting like, where the fuck are they? Are they coming to get you or not?
And, like, literally, and, like, the opening of, like, episode 1 of season 2 was just like, all of them wonder, where the fuck are you guys? Just followed your orders.
No, it's just Rex being like, a clone has been kidnapped, I need your help. And we're like, oh, yeah, no, we can't be asked.
Yeah, but it's not heavily guarded anymore. He's no longer a threat. No, we're not gonna get him.
It's too far.
It wouldn't surprise me if the show was just like, well, Hunter's gone, we need a new leader. Look at Omega.
They were like, Omega, you're the only one able to lead us. It's like, why? It's because you're the only one who's actually had character development.
Yeah, and you're the only one who's actually given, like, you're the only one on the team who actually wants to do stuff.
We just want to sit down and chill.
Yeah, we just want to sit down and just go into the remote planet and just, like, do nothing. Also...
You're actually driving us forward to do stuff.
Yeah. Also, what was I going to say? You know at the end of the last sort of Hera Ryloth episode where Crosshair's finally got permission to go hunt down his brothers, and then all of a sudden, like, the next time we see him, it's just him looking at Hunter being captured. It's just like, you missed the chance.
He's like, I've got you, finally, even though I didn't do it.
I didn't, it would have, yeah. Like, imagine how cool it would have been if, like, as Hunter's getting on the ship, like, Crosshair snipes him at a tree or something.
That would be better, because right now, all that's happened is, Crosshair's tracked them down to where they were on that junk planet.
Yeah.
He got his face burned, and then he tried to get him. And then for some reason, he didn't go after him again. Because at the end of the Hera arc, he was there like, oh, I want permission to hunt them down. I'm like, weren't you already doing that? But apparently he wasn't. And then when he finally gets them, it wasn't even through his actions. Mm-hmm. It just so happened to be that Hunter tripped over and, like, got caught.
Yeah.
Like,
I get what you mean.
Crosshair was a very inactive villain for that part.
He's been very inactive a lot of this show.
Yeah. Also, speaking of crosshairs, I know I said with T, but I want to get it out again about my theory that crosshairs might not be under the mind control anymore. So I'm going to go through this. Some of this evidence is going to be a bit meta, like evidence. So, in the junk planet, when he got his face burnt, we seen that he took significant damage to his fucking head where the mind controlling chip is.
Yeah.
Right? And the next time we see him, he's bald, and he's still got the scar on that side of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the episode, he said, "Oh, I want permission to hunt down my former teammates," which I keep saying was odd, considering, oh, I didn't even know you stopped. But it might lead into the fact that he might be wanting to rejoin them. Now, this brings me on to my other theory, because the rape was filmed with him in the prison cell. It just cut off without him saying anything to Hunter. Now, usually that's done to trick the audience into thinking, oh my god, they've been caught. But really, there's like a plot twist that they're actually on their side.
I hope not.
I think that's what they're doing.
I hope that's not
I
what they do.
hope not too, just because it makes Crosshair seem like a bitch. Like he shot the senator for no reason and all that. But I do think there's a strong chance it could be.
Maybe. Just the way I see it is that they're just going to go get Hunter, there's going to be a standoff, and Crosshair's going to break out of his chip, and then they're both going to like get on a ship, and then that's going to lead into season 2. That's how I reckon it's going to happen, and I'm like 100% sure that's what's going to happen. But I hope that he's still on his mind control, because because a lot of the time, aside from episode 3, he's been a bit redundant.
Yeah, he's done nothing really.
So I feel like, because like this is why I'm excited for the last 2 episodes, is right? It's like, for example, look at a lot of Rebels. That was just very like the first 2 seasons were very okay, not really much happened, and then like the last 2 finales have just been amazing, and the finales for all the seasons of all animation have been amazing. So and that's where Filoni really shines in his finales. So I reckon that they could do some really fun stuff with Crosshair, and then if that's so,
it would be cool to see, maybe cool stuff. But like we've been saying, it'll still feel unearned, since the rest of the show he wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And the rest of the show hasn't been as good as it should be.
I do feel though is that they've still got a chance to do some interesting stuff with Crosshair.
I hope they do.
Do you know? Yeah, but like overall, what was your thoughts on this episode? I thought it was really good actually. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm probably the one that enjoyed it the least, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like it's probably one of the best episodes we've got, and at least it did some really fun story stuff. Like they've got like Gregor was there, and they did some fun stuff with Gregor. They did some really cool stuff about like the kind of transition from stormtroopers to clones, which I feel like they could have done a bit more with, and a bit more on Camino as well.
I do think the show should have focused more on Crosshair's side of the story.
Yeah.
And what he...
Like, imagine a whole Crosshair episode. That would have been flipping awesome.
Yeah, I don't understand why we haven't done that. Like,
imagine if the entirety of episode 3 was just about Crosshair.
I was saying how, like... Well, considering episode 4 did nothing, I think that should have been something more about Crosshair.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Like, that's what the show's been missing. That perspective of that side. Like,
I still think episode 3...
Rise of the Empire.
I still think that one Crosshair scene was awesome. It was such a good scene.
Yeah. But that's the thing. The Bad Batch stuff in that episode was, I'm going to be honest with you, it was basically shit. Like, we were just on a planet, and they lost a thing. We then had to get a thing, then we got the thing back, and then we were all good again.
Yeah.
But, like, the Crosshair stuff made that good.
Yeah.
Because it balanced out the Bad Batch doing, boring, mundane chores with some actual good character progression and story development with Crosshairs. And then it's something that I think the show should have done more of. Because how many times have we seen the Bad Batch just do fucking nothing? Like, look at the previous episode for this one, and they did fucking nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, they didn't learn anything from this, it's just, they did fucking nothing.
Yeah, it's just concept-wise, they could have done, like, a whole big episode with Crosshair, and that would have been amazing. Yeah. It's like, for example, I know this isn't Star Wars, but it's like, there was one episode of Daredevil Season 3 where they just spent an entire episode focusing on the backstory of, like, Daredevil's girlfriend at the time. And, like, the whole episode, it was just about her. There was nothing else going on. It was just a backstory. And it was probably one of the best episodes of Daredevil, even though it didn't have a lot of Daredevil in it. And you see what I'm kind of trying to say? It's like they could have just
This show is set during the rise of the Empire. And it's like we haven't seen the rise of the Empire.
Yeah, it's like
they're just there.
It's
and they
almost
haven't
like
done
the Empire sort of made a cameo before this in a few episodes.
Yeah. The Empire feels like a cameo set in a show that's about their rise to power.
Do you know what I feel like they what we could do to make Bad Batch a little bit better?
Go
if we write down, and I think we could make a video about this, we could make a Bad Batch arc, and how we sit back, and when we think about the episodes that would really suit well together. It's like, for example, I know this isn't really an arc, but you know where Satine gets killed by Maul, and someone online made a few episodes of themselves of like, you can watch all of these and that sets up Kenobi and Satine's relationship.
Yeah.
Or just something like that.
I get you.
It's like, for example, first 3 should be part of the arc, and then maybe cut straight to the Rex episode, and then the 2 Cad Bane episodes after that, and then maybe cut to like I don't know, maybe this one, for example. You know, because that's like that would work pretty well together, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's like, if I watched that arc that I just made up in my head right now, I'd thoroughly enjoy that watch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was also thinking we could like, maybe we'll do a sort of finale one, or just a separate video as well, but we could do like a rewrite of the show. Not like a full-on one, but
that would be fun.
We can talk about how like we think the show could have been done. Because like I've been doing it in my head, and I've just been making like how it should have been done with story.
That would have been really fun.
How they could have separated it a bit more.
That would be, Can we please do that? That would be flipping fun.
That would be fun.
That would be really, really fun.
Like, I don't typically do that too much, but with this show, I feel like I have to make myself happy.
Is there, like, because I've got a few things that I would have liked to see, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, did you want to, let's do that at some point.
That'd be fun.
I'm going to start writing down a few ideas. And is there anything else you wanted to cover?
Not really, just, I swear if, like, next episode is mundane somehow, I will, like, be very upset.
Yeah, same. I don't think it will, but I feel like from these...
chance.
Yeah, I'm just happy at this point where I'm not going to expect any more mediocrity or just nothingness. You know, we're actually getting to some flipping meat and gravy of the show now.
But this is going to be an odd reference, but this is like the Flash season 7, where the opening was okay, the middle bits were shit, but the final 3 episodes were actually good.
Yeah.
But they weren't, but only in reference to like how the previous episodes were bad.
I think making arcs for yourself makes shows better.
Yeah, it makes it better because you have more time to develop to like the idea of the story you're telling. Like the Raxus arc, episode should have been like an arc.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But yeah, I'd love to make up some concepts for this show. That'd be really fun.
That would be fun.
Alright, are you ready to wrap up this episode?
I am.
So overall, real quick, I thought this episode was kick-ass. I love seeing commanders, I love seeing stuff with Gregor. The ending could have been better, but it excites me for the what's to come. Yeah.
Oh, I also liked, I won't say but I enjoyed the environment that they were in.
Yeah, Dara looked really cool. Yeah, it was like a combination of like Endor and like what else? It was like an Endor Naboo sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And just the animation, it's just flipping beautiful. You know, I just...
It is, man.
You know, like, I hope Season 2 does really well. I hope they do some really interesting things because, you know, like, I want this sort of animation style stuff to continue. I'd love to do more stories like this in the future.
Like, I want it to stick around.
Yeah, same.
I want to go, because it is some of my favourite animation. And it looks like it could be in danger due to reception of the show.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people can't help how they feel about the show.
And plus, at the same time, even though everyone's reviews and everyone's reactions, we're still getting a Season 2. So they've got a chance to learn upon their mistakes. Because Filoni's obviously going to listen to all this feedback.
Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah, I hope so. So,
like, I'm a fan of like shows sticking to the original idea, even if fans don't like them. But I do believe sometimes if people are just absolutely not enjoying the storyline you're telling whatsoever, then you need to make a change.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Did you wanna? We'll wrap this up now.
Yeah.
Robert, appreciate you joining me, man. This has been fun.
Yes.
I'm gonna put Scorch and all the concept troopers. That's what I'm gonna call them. The concept troopers on the thumbnail, which are gonna be fun to design. Concept troopers. That's what I'm gonna call them all the time. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys don't know, we got another episode of Bad Batch coming out tomorrow, which we'll put out shortly. So thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you guys very, very soon.